this translated across so many different, whether it's games, TV shows, animated things, even now, a ride.
It felt like 80, actually. You know, the visuals have carried TRON, they're obvious, but it's really the story that came through. And that's been a surprise to everyone, that it came this true. The story of Flynn, his idealism about what cyberspace with the digital realm was going to represent, what it was going to be one day. What happened to that idealism? And TRON is a symbol of that hope. And we've seen in TRON Legacy how he struggled with his own creation. And now the agent program idea is more relevant than ever. When we did the first film, the idea of avatars, the word didn't even exist in computerese. So it didn't occur to me that if there was going to be an alter ego, that alter ego would be the same person, that it would be a puppet. I thought, well, it has to be another version of ourselves. And that really has now started to happen. We're now struggling with the idea that so much of each one of us is in the world, the digital realm. And what is our relationship going to be with that agent program? Is it going to be helpful, or is it going to drive us crazy? So there's still a lot to explore with the future of TRON, but the ride is a high point. I mean, come on. I can tell you all these analytical things about computers and filmmaking, but the fact is I teared up when I saw that ride.
Me too, Steven!
And Steve, again,
I also teared up when I got off the ride.
And Steve, we are celebrating these 4 decades now of, again, so many different mediums, and that's taken a lot of people to get to that point. What's it been like reconnecting with those people all the way back from 1982 on?
Well, it was an amazing team. I was very lucky that when Disney has this unique attitude about artists, and when we started making the film, Disney said, who do you want? We'll get them. And some of the great artists that worked on the film, whose influence goes all the way through, obviously, on this film, like Sid Mead and Mobius and Peter Lloyd, and even David Warner, they're gone now. So it makes me sad that they didn't see all of this come to fruition. But one thing surprises me is we had this group of people that was so good at predicting the future, but none of us actually ever anticipated what happened in terms of the sequels and the ride and how long this was going to take. So we're just as surprised as anybody, maybe more.
That's incredible. I think we all have gotten a chance now over the past year especially to hear from so many stories. And do you have, a favorite story from working on whether it was original TRON or all the way to TRON Legacy?
Well, there's a couple things. Working on the first film, in 1982, there was still a lot of the original people that worked with Walt that were at the studio. And the studio back then was very sleepy. We always felt like it was like Sleeping Beauty, that we had gone out there and woken them all up. And one of the best things that happened was in the middle of struggling to get this film made, one of the old timers said to me, this feels, the fact that we're not sure whether all of this is going to work, he said, this feels like it used to feel when Walt was here. Everybody thinks that we knew what we were doing all the time perfectly when he was around. And he said it wasn't like that. They were always experimenting, and the minute they figured out how to do something, he pushed them to, go past that. And we had that philosophy, and it was really exciting. When you went in the animation building, there's a stone picture of Walt carved in stone, and it's right by the elevator. And every morning you walk in there, and there's Walt looking at you in stone, and you press the button for the elevator to go upstairs. And that's a perfect relationship, because you saw Walt and then you went up. And that was cool. And what was really amazing was in the first film, we had Jeff Bridges scanned, and he ended up in the digital realm. We just made that up. And there was no such technology. And then on the second film, on this film, we actually scanned Jeff Bridges and then he appeared on the screen. That was so surreal that went down that way. On this film, it was amazing to see how far we had advanced. I mean, the costumes really lit up. What Joe did, what Sean managed to do. I mean, they took this thing to a level that was, just fabulous. I mean, the light cycles in this film, that's beyond anything we ever could have imagined, so.
It's incredible. I think we, for many of us, myself included, I think I was introduced to Tron through the original Tron, grew up watching it with my grandparents, and all the way now to, I just went to their house a lot. I then had Tron Legacy, and it was such an amazing continuity to something that I experienced when I was younger. And I guess, one thing that I think not a lot of people know is, while you did work behind the camera on Tron Legacy, you also had a little moment in front of the camera too, right?
Yeah, they did that to me.
Bartender.
That was their revenge. They made me the bartender. I'm not really good at acting, okay? The problem is actors are really good at pretending to not be what they are. I think that's why it's hard to be married to one. And, but I don't have that ability. What you see is what you get. What I say is what I mean. So I struggled with it. But it was great working with David Warner on the film. On the first film, he was a Shakespearean actor, and we had all this strange dialogue that was computer terminology, which no one knew back then. Very high-tech words like user. Okay. But to him, it was just more Shakespearean speak. That was the funniest part. So
That's great. And, I think all of us are here for one really big reason, and that's to celebrate the debut of Tron Light Cycle Run by watching the film that inspired it. Was there any, you've obviously, as you said, experienced the attraction. Was there anything part of the attraction, any details, any fun things you've noticed that just made your eyes light up?
Well, there are a couple things. Only Disney could have made a ride that beautiful. Okay, that's number one. And then the other thing that really strikes me about the ride that I'm so happy about is it's so huge. Okay, I mean, it's gigantic. And what I love about that is the internet and the whole digital realm is the biggest creation that mankind has ever made. And some people never got over the idea that Tron was about, it's this little world on a chip. All right. For years, people used to send me scripts. Do you want to do a movie about bacteria and things like that? And it's like, no, I didn't do it because I'm fascinated by small things. I did it because I'm fascinated by huge things. And I never thought of that world as being small. And that's why I really like Tron on the big screen because of that. And then to see that ride, and it really is a good symbol of how we feel about the technology, which is, it's amazing looking, it's beautiful, but when we get on the internet, it's so fast, it's so new that it's not a surprise. You scream on that ride. I scream at the internet very frequently. There's a perfect analogy between those two. And it's just couldn't be better. And to have Daft Punk, Daft Punk said, I said to them, when I did the first film, it was so difficult to make something look perfect. And they said, that's funny, because our problem is now with our new tools, our technology, the problem is everything comes out too perfect. So there you have the difference.
Thank you for that, Stephen. And I think, honestly, thank you so much for creating this world and helping bring it to life. I think I speak on behalf of all of us when I say it means a lot to everyone in this room and so many more outside. And everyone, can we give them a big thank you? Awesome. Well, we're gonna get the movie kicked off real soon. So, a couple of reminders, as usual. This is a movie theater, so please turn off all electronic devices. Came up with that one yesterday. That's good. Been practicing it all morning. But thank you guys so much for coming, and we really value you as our D23 members. It's experiences like this that truly encompass what D23 is and why you guys are the ultimate fans and part of it. And legacies like this wouldn't exist if it weren't for people like you. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy the movie, and we will see you guys in the grid.